Michael, what's today's audio topic?
Today we're comparing the B&W 805D4 and the KEF R3 Meta. Last time, we compared the 805D4 and the 705S3. I also have the KEF R3 Meta, so we'll be comparing that as well.
I see. Master, you'd like to hear the comparison between the B&W 805D4 and the KEF R3 Meta 2, right?
Yes, I'd like to hear it.
Was there a difference in sound between the two?
To sum it up, the 805D4 was superior overall. The price difference between the two is reflected in the sound.
I see. What equipment did you use?
The audio source was Amazon Music, the network streamer was LinkPlay WM Ultra, the DAC was SMCell CU9 Pro, and the amplifier was SMCell PA200. I compared the B&W 805D4 and KEF R3 Meta speakers.
What are the prices of the two models?
The 805D4 is approximately $10,000, and the R3 Meta is approximately $2,500.
That's a significant price difference. Do you have the spec sheets for the two models?
Here are the spec sheets. The main difference is the number of speaker units. The 805D4 is a two-way system, while the R3 Meta is a three-way system.
The R3 Meta also looks like a two-way system.
The tweeter and mid-range are mounted on the same axis in the R3 Meta. So, while it looks like a two-way system, it's actually a three-way system. KEF calls this the UniQ driver.
I see. Wouldn't it be possible to have the tweeter and mid-range in a single unit?
Each frequency requires a different diaphragm, so the tweeter needs to be small, while the mid-range needs to be of a certain size. So, even though it looks like one unit, it's actually two.
The 805D4 has separate tweeters and mid-range woofers, right?
The 805D4 separates the tweeter from the speaker body to enhance high-frequency dispersion. Considering the coherence between high and mid frequencies, having the tweeter and mid-range coaxially aligned in the R3 Meta is an advantage.
How about the actual high frequencies?
The 805D4 uses a diamond tweeter, while the R3 Meta uses an aluminum tweeter, so they differ significantly. The 805D4 has higher resolution, producing high frequencies that the R3 Meta cannot reproduce. Diamond has significantly higher rigidity than aluminum, making it an optimal material for tweeters.
How effective is the UniQ driver in the R3 Meta?
Honestly, I don't feel much benefit from having the tweeter and mid-range coaxially aligned. Compared to the 805D4, the high frequencies aren't as prominent. On the other hand, it has a cohesive high and mid-range sound.
Does the 805D4 have any drawbacks to having the tweeter and mid-range separated?
The tweeter does have high directivity, so with the 805D4, you can definitely hear the high frequencies coming from the tweeter. However, when listening to music, I don't feel any drawbacks from the tweeter being separated from the mid-range. In terms of localization, the 805D4 feels like it's pinpoint accurate. On the other hand, the R3 Meta feels like it has a softer localization. But if you consider the R3 Meta as a speaker that conveys atmosphere, the lack of precise localization can also be seen as a characteristic.
Which one do you prefer, Michael?
For serious listening, I'd choose the 805D4, and for enjoying music as background music while eating, I'd go with the R3 Meta.
How about the vocals?
The 805D4 has high resolution and conveys the sound without embellishment. The R3 Meta has a smooth quality, which is also nice.
So it's a matter of personal preference?
Yes, that's right.
How about the bass on both models?
The 805D4 has excellent resolution and volume. On the other hand, the R3 Meta has mediocre resolution. However, the R3 Meta has bass volume that is on par with the 805D4.
So the bass quantity of the R3 Meta is good.
That's right. The bass quantity of the R3 Meta is so impressive that I use an adjustment sponge in the bass reflex port.
A bass adjustment sponge?
It's a sponge inserted into the speaker's bass reflex port to adjust the bass energy. The material of the R3 Meta woofer is hybrid aluminum. It's a hybrid structure with aluminum as the main material, combined with paper and other materials.
What are the other materials?
I'm not sure about that, but this structure definitely produces rich bass. The reason the bass resolution of the R3 Meta isn't great is because the bass quantity is too much.
Is excessive bass output a disadvantage?
Good bass output means the woofer is vibrating strongly. This makes it harder to control the bass, which is why the bass resolution is worse compared to the 805D4.
I thought better bass output was always better, but that's not the case, huh?
It depends on personal preference. I value both the quantity of bass and its resolution, meaning I prefer tight bass. That's what concerns me about the R3 Meta.
The 805D4 has sufficient quantity and quality, right?
Yes, the continuum cone and matrix structure are effective.
Is the continuum cone different from aluminum?
The continuum cone is a fiber-based composite material developed exclusively by B&W. The exact composition is confidential, but it's based on fabric-like fibers rather than metal, and it has high internal damping, the ability to absorb unwanted vibrations. The previous B&W used Kevlar cones, yellow fibers, and this is an evolution of that. The continuum cone minimizes sound coloring and resonance, achieving natural and accurate mid-bass reproduction.
The woofer materials are completely different between the two models. Is higher internal damping better for woofers?
Since it's better to absorb unwanted vibrations, higher internal damping is preferable. I'm not sure how the continuum cone compares to hybrid aluminum as a material.
I see. If Michael had to choose between the two, would it be the 805D4?
The speakers are in different classes. They're in different price ranges, so it might be unfair to compare them.
Are there any other advantages to the R3 Meta besides the sound?
I think the R3 Meta looks great. The UniQ driver was designed with sound quality in mind, but it also looks beautiful. I recommend using it without the grill. Plus, unlike the 805D4, the tweeter isn't separated from the enclosure, giving it a more cohesive look. The rear-facing bass reflex port also contributes to its aesthetic appeal. The 805D4 has a front-facing bass reflex port, so it looks a bit off. Additionally, the R3 Meta has a stand in the same color, creating a great sense of unity. If you're placing it in the living room, I'd go with the R3 Meta.
But Michael prioritizes sound quality, right?
Of course, as an audiophile, I prioritize sound quality over appearance. But when relaxing with music, appearance is also important.
Master, which would you prefer between B&W's 805D4 and KEF's R3 Meta?
Yes, 805D4, 805D4.